This is an ABC News special report. Now reporting, George Stephanopoulos.
And we are coming on the air right now to address a security threat in Los Angeles this morning. The Los Angeles schools have been closed today after a bomb threat was called into several schools at around 5 a.m. Pacific time this morning. The police called into the superintendent who made the decision to close schools for the day. They have also asked parents who have not yet sent their kids to school to keep them at home. I want to go to Matt Gutman on the scene right now in Los Angeles. Matt.
Hey, good morning, George. Very fluid scene here. The entirety of the LA Unified School District has been closed. Nearly 700,000 students, second biggest school district in the country. We're hearing reports that bomb threats, not one, but multiple bomb threats were called into schools. Now, out of an abundance of caution, the entirety of the schools are being closed. Families are asked not to send their kids to school if they've been dropped off, they're being picked up. Dozens and dozens of buses have been ordered by dispatchers to turn around, drop the kids off if they are en route, and if they're not en route, to stay put. So the threat is credible enough to be taken seriously, but apparently it is not that serious that tactical alert has been issued, so we're not seeing SWAT teams rushing to schools or anything like that. But one thing that we are going to see today, George, is that the entirety of the school district, elementary schools, middle schools, high schools, are going to be checked by the LAPD and the LA Sheriff's Office thoroughly to make sure that the threat was, in fact, not credible. We're hearing that bombs and other packages were the threat, either left at schools or placed there, not exactly clear. But that is one thing that the LAPD and the Sheriff's Office is going to have to work out through the remainder of the day.
An electronic threat was transmitted into the schools. I want to go to our chief investigative correspondent, Brian Ross. And Brian, it does appear that this threat was targeted specifically at the schools, not any other targets in the Los Angeles area.
That's right, George. Talking to senior law enforcement officials in Los Angeles, they say they do not regard this as serious. They've not put the LAPD on a tactical alert, as Matt Gutman reported. But there have been a series of threats throughout the Los Angeles area. It is a city on edge in the wake of the San Bernardino attacks. And as we know, the high school in San Bernardino was found, photos of it were found on the phone of Syed Farouk, and was considered a possible follow-on target for him. So from the point of view of the Los Angeles school system, there was ample reason to take this action. The police officials tell us, George, this was a decision made solely by the superintendent of schools.
And he just gave a press conference where he announced that decision. I want to go to our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas. But Pierre, there is so much concern coming out of San Bernardino that this could have been part of a wider plot.
Well, law enforcement officials simply are not taking any chances. Senior law enforcement officials tell me that the federal government is seeking additional information about precisely why the LAPD and the school system took this particular position. Their guidance is that, again, a threat was phoned in of some sort. The federal authorities will help them sort through this. But, George, as you mentioned, we're talking about the threat environment right now. The attacks in San Bernardino came on the heels of what happened in Paris. There was great concern about the potential for copycat attacks. Also, we're looking at the anniversary of those Newtown killings at that school system in Connecticut a few years ago. So law enforcement simply is not going to take any kind of chance, particularly with a threat involving children.
Not right now. And President Obama also addressed the ISIS threat at the Pentagon yesterday. Everyone on the highest alert. Pierre Thomas, thanks very much. We're going to continue to monitor this all through the day. For now, let's go back to our regular programming. For many of you on the West Coast, that's Good Morning America.
This has been a special report from ABC News.